we're doing, we are interviewing casual Final Fantasy XIV players and actually asking them questions about how they feel about the Dawntrail content. Because I've seen a lot of people, you know, talk about how hard the content is, if it's like too hard so it's not enjoyable and all that stuff, but I haven't really seen anyone actually talk to the casual player base. So we've got Lynn, Sash, and Ren joining us. So thank you guys so much for being here and taking your time to be a part of this and actually, you know, get a word out what your experience has been like with Dawntrail and the battle content. Did you just want to like introduce yourselves and let people know like your experience with Final Fantasy XIV?
Let's
go. Yeah, let's go,
Sash. Hello, I am Sash Ariel. I have been playing Final Fantasy since probably October 2022. I probably do see myself as primarily a casual player. At this point in time, I just love spamming roulettes and such, and while I have cleared one Savage and one Ultimate, I probably would still mostly put myself in the bracket of casual content. It's definitely what I enjoy most.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's good though, because it's only like more recently you've like challenged yourself into doing like an ultimate and everything like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can like talk about what it was like, maybe just the experience from being like really casual to like mediocre casual sort of thing, you know what I mean? Because you know more about the game and how it works a bit more like snapshotting and all that stuff, because you do learn a lot from doing ultimate raids, I believe.
You do learn plenty, and it is a terrifying experience, but it doesn't really take away from how casual I feel about the game. Like, I'm not exactly I don't actively seek doing hard content like Savages and Ultimates. I just kind of pick it up when I feel like it. I definitely enjoy the game just as it is without high-end content, so...
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks, Sash. Lynn, let's hear it.
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn. I'm Kreia in game, and according to my subscription history, I've been playing on and off since 2014.
Wow.
So yeah, a while. It wasn't until about 2019 that I actually managed to finally reach proper endgame after Shadowbringers came out, and so from Endwalker on, I was up to date with all of MSQ, which is pretty much what keeps me going in the game. So I come out of hibernation from the game every time MSQ tends to update, and I try to keep up with the raids, but it does get a little bit difficult if I miss a week, or if things keep me sidetracked, and then after everyone else has sort of jumped ahead with all their gear and all of their everything, and they've gotten used to how the raids work, it tends to get a bit overwhelming, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it another time.
Yeah, no, that's good. Oh, it's good to have you here, Lynn. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Ren.
Hello, so my name's Ren. I would consider myself quite the casual. I've started Final Fantasy XIV maybe like at the end of Shadowbringers, but I wasn't really in the content like when it came out. And then I kind of like was playing on and off during Endwalker. Near the end of Endwalker is when I started kind of like getting a bit more into Final Fantasy, and recently is when I kind of like started wanting to veer a bit more into the endgame content, but I'm still like very much casual. I like to do my roulettes, I like to do casual PvP. I've only kind of put my toes into doing extremes recently, thanks to Lucy.
Yay, that's good. That's awesome. No, thank you so much, Ren. Thank you for being here. I'm super excited to hear what you guys have to say about your Dawntrail experience with the battle content. I guess I'm not gonna take this like too seriously or anything. I just kind of wanted to chat, and I thought we could even answer some of chat's questions if chat had any questions. But yeah, first off, I'm just gonna ask. I'm just gonna throw the question out there for anyone to jab at if they want to. How did you find the dungeon MSQ content? So like just the dungeons from the MSQ, did you guys feel that content was too hard, or was it enjoyable, or did you feel like it was too much of a challenge, or like is that content too scary to like jump back into?
So as I said, I started playing in late 2022, so by the time I'd actually started playing Final Fantasy, almost every dungeon from A Realm Reborn to Endwalker was out.
Yeah.
And through playing the MSQ, since that was quite literally all I was doing, I could always see a gradual increase in difficulty as I was playing. I didn't
Yeah.
have the advantages of like playing post content on like when it was released and all of that. So when it came to Dawntrail Dungeons, I was already preemptively expecting a difficulty increase, not a major one, but just an increase over Endwalker's difficulty. And while I believe that the difficulty has indeed increased by Endwalker, I don't think it's necessarily anything to write home about. I think all of the dungeons are very learnable, very doable, and I don't think there's anything that's terrifyingly difficult in Dawntrail Dungeons.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Cool. And like you're not scared to like go back in them, or like you'd feel quite comfortable just doing a leveling relay where you'd get a 90
absolutely.
to get 90 dungeon.
I've been leveling a bunch of different classes. I've seen all of the different dungeons via playing different roles, and I treat them all exactly the same. They're just fun dungeons. They're a bit harder than Endwalker, but I don't think they're anything to write home about.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Lynn and Ren, what do you guys reckon as well?
Yeah, I definitely noticed the like slight spike in difficulty. I don't know if it was my mental state at the time, but I did feel like the dungeons were slightly longer than what I remember experiencing previous dungeons in the past. Like there was a lot happening, and especially with, and this probably reflects a bit on the trials as well, just the type of mechanics that were included in a lot of the dungeons for Dawntrail seemed to have a bit of a different like flavor compared to last time. So it was very mechanic heavy, in kind of like how this time with Dawntrail we're starting a whole new part of the journey, and it's like a complete shift to the story. The gameplay kind of also follows suit in the style that a lot of what we are doing in the dungeons is comparatively not traditional to what I've experienced in the dungeons during the Ascian story era.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. So same, like, you know, not you. Would you say they are enjoyable stuff that you find to go back into?
Yeah,
or, yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely enjoyable, because I mean, it takes a couple of tries with all of these new types of mechanics in there to get used to it. And it just as well comparatively, everything in there is so pretty. Like it's just beautiful to look at just in there. So yeah, definitely 100%. I have already gone back a couple of times and done them just to go and look at all the pretty little lights and things. But
yeah. Cool. So I would say like the Dawntrail MSQ Dungeons, no issues, fine to jump into. They are a bit more challenging, but that is expected. Also being like min-eye level again, as you know, we've been just kind of over leveled for like so long now. So, you know, going back and doing content min-eye level, you kind of have that shock, like where mobs are taking a lot longer to die and everything like that. But you know, that's super good to hear about the MSQ Dungeons. So how about experts? How do you guys feel about the expert dungeons? The level 100 ones that we locked from Solution 9 and
someone else is going first this time.
Let's go Ren. Let's hear from Ren.
Well, I haven't done the
You haven't done the
dungeons
experts yet?
so
Oh,
neither have I.
How I
No.
am.
You cheeky buggers! I have done them.
That's okay.
Was planning to, but
That's so good. Okay.
Yeah, I've been planning to, just haven't got to them.
I might get someone else to jump in the... Yeah, okay, extremely casual. It's like, we'll hear Sash. Let's hear
not enough flavor of casual for these podcasts.
Okay, so this is another thing that this is probably my first time experiencing. I've never actually experienced a post-game dungeon that was released on expansion release before.
Yeah, cool.
So my experience with it was honestly par for the same of how I felt with any final dungeon in any expansion. It's like, I think one of the dungeons I do feel is a little bit... but honestly, I feel exactly the same with them as I do any other dungeon in the MSQ at this point in time, being fine difficulty, except for that one. You know which one I'm talking about.
I think I know which one you're talking about. The one I lose my head over.
Yes, the one everyone should lose their head over. But honestly, yeah, I'm I'm neutral about them. I think they're good dungeons. I think they deserve their place here. I don't find them overly difficult, and that's just kind of it, really.
Yeah. Do you have like anxiety jumping into expert roulettes or anything like that?
So I rarely ever do expert roulettes because there's no experience to get from them.
Okay. You don't.
But no, I'm not terrified of doing those dungeons. It's
Yeah.
dungeons. You jump in, you do what you want. There's nothing to
Yeah.
it really. I suppose that's easy for me to say because I have played this game plenty of times in dungeons and such. But yeah. They're just other dungeons really.
Yeah. Okay. No. Cool. Hi, Dom.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for jumping in. So we got someone. We got someone else here. Dom, can you please just introduce yourself and your experience with Final Fantasy 14 and like what sort of raids you've done and stuff like that?
Yeah. I'm Dom or Dommy in Discord or Erasier in game. I've been playing since the end of Shadowbringers, I think. But I did story skip to there, so just so I could be up to date with stuff. And then Endwalker was my first expansion, and experienced that full time that I got away through from start to finish on content. And then just enjoyed Dawntrail. So
cool. What about like raiding or would you consider yourself a casual player, like someone that doesn't really go into
I would
hardcore
consider
content?
myself casual.
Yeah.
In terms of the content I do, I've never finished a full Savage tier. I kind of delve in, do like the first 2 fights, and then don't do the rest.
Yeah.
The last tier was the only tier where I went past the second fight and did the third fight, mainly because Lucy dragged me in.
Yes, the support helps. It definitely helps. So I was just laughing because your name is like plays Fortnite, and I'm asking about.
Oh yeah.
Casual player plays
I don't
Fortnite.
even play it anymore.
No, thank you. Okay, so I would love to hear what you think about the expert roulettes. Do you think they are too hard?
Roulettes?
Yeah.
I think they're challenging, and I think they should be for post dungeons.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be doing them over and over again, so I think it's good that it's got learning experience in there.
Yeah, okay, so you like that it's challenging because you know that you're going to be doing them so often, where if they weren't challenging, how do you think that would make you feel?
I'd probably get bored of them and not do them.
You just get bored. Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel the same. I always say, like, I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy dying. I think it's a lot more rewarding when we are dying to mechanics and we have to learn things and then improve over time instead of just being able to jump into a dungeon and then clear it first go and just be like, yeah, cool, And I feel like, this is a good middle ground. Like, it's not too hard in my opinion. But obviously I want to know your guys' opinions more than mine. But I think, both Sash and Dom, would you agree that the experts, they're not too hard, but they are still a challenge, but in a good way, they are a challenge so that it keeps it enjoyable?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, 100%.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you'd want to like add about the experts?
Just a one dungeon with the children.
Yeah, the one that one can bugger off, mate. Like that one can just get lost.
It's only that fight. It's not like
it's just the fight.
It's not a difficult mechanic. It's just really janky, I feel like.
Yeah, you feel like you're safe, but you're not. Yeah.
But I would feel like I'm living in a happier world if it was to, bugger off. So.
Yeah. Okay. No,
this is not
good.
convincing me to try the expert.
You're gonna love expert roulette, Lynn, so much.
Listen, one of them's really fun. The other one, the first boss, is a bit monka, but it's pretty good. Rest of it.
Yeah. I agree. I think the dungeons are fine. That first boss, in the Solution 9 dungeon, it's just janky. Like, you can still clear it though. I think as long as the content is clearable, it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you wipe once or twice. Like, as long as you can get past it, that's all that matters. And like, I don't know if Dom or Sash, if you guys have experienced many wipes during your experts.
For experts, no, not particularly.
No?
It's actually been the trials where I've experienced.
Okay, yeah,
wipes
we'll
plenty
talk
of
about
times.
trials in a sec. Yeah.
Yes.
I've experienced a few wipes in experts. I think I've had a couple of wipes on the first boss, just simply due to the mechanic.
Yep.
The
ping.
last boss in the same dungeon as the one with the children.
Oh, okay. As in, like, it's a bit hard.
It wasn't because it was difficult. I think it was just lack of understanding the
Oh,
mechanic
okay.
of how it works.
Yes, sorry, yeah, for
So,
wiping.
Yeah, when anyone who can res is dead, it's kind of GG's at that point.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny because I've been seeing less like red mages and summoners and stuff. So there's been less like DPS being able to res recently, I feel, because like a lot of casters are playing Picto. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that, and me being one of them. Cool. Okay, awesome. Well, let's move on to the trials. And I know some of you guys have done the extremes as well, but let's just start talking about the normal trials that we unlocked during the MSQ. How did you guys feel about those?
I honestly really enjoyed them. I didn't find them too difficult, honestly.
Yeah.
Once you kind of like get the mechanics in your head, I find it quite easy to solve.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I really enjoyed them.
Oh, that's good to hear. Awesome. Yeah, Dom, did you want to go?
Yeah, I didn't. It was pretty good. The first time I did the first trial, because I did it like right off the bat, so everyone in there was first time.
Yeah.
We did wipe, but it was like we learned the mechanics and figured it out. It was just fun.
Yeah, I think it's. Would you guys say it's more fun when you wipe and die and then go again?
Yeah,
cool.
it's just
Yeah.
learning all the tells
Yeah.
and what does what.
To me, I feel like it's more rewarding. Dying and then wiping
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I don't know. It definitely feels more like hype. I don't know. Instead of just like clearing it and then be like, oh, okay, well that just happened. We just went through that with like no challenge. Like what's the point then if we're not gonna challenge ourselves? Okay, what now the
Oh,
extremes? Who's on the extremes?
Been in, but I've cleared the second one.
How's your
I haven't played
experience?
the first one. I wouldn't say they're too difficult for an extreme, but they're still definitely a ramp up from the normals.
Okay.
So they're still pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's normal for the first couple of extremes because of how, to some people, the gear is important to them. So they usually
Yes.
make it more accessible to begin with.
Yeah, I definitely found
And I
that.
feel like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with VX1 especially, like I'm not casual, but I still kind of say I'm a bit casual because like I don't go into party finders really to do savages and ultimates. Like I just don't. It's not just my thing, right? And I found EX1 was actually something that I felt comfortable going into party finder with just after doing it like a few times with a static. Do you know what I mean? So like I don't know. To me, I felt that EX1 was really accessible for like a lot of people, and I hope
feel like
that's
I've seen a lot more people jump in.
Yeah, which I think is really nice. Would Sash, you've done EX1? What do you think as well?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I've never done on-content extremes before, so I'm very fresh to this. But comparing EX1 to the normal trial, it was honestly a blast. I found I didn't find the difficulty too crazy. If I do remember, we actually did it blind.
Yeah.
On the same session, we actually got our clear, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
Like there was plenty of familiar mechanics from the normal that I could just, wrap my head around pretty fast, and honestly, some mechanics that were so breathtaking to look at that I'm surprised that they were only limited to the extreme trial because they were that awesome. But difficulty wise, we did it in one session blind, admittedly with a quite outstanding H2.
Raid lead. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if we would have done it without loose, but maybe.
But it was fun. It was doable. I yeah, that's all I've got for it. I just enjoyed myself with it.
Yeah. Lynn, have you managed to jump into the extreme or Ren?
I have not, but they do look really fun. Like, I did really enjoy doing the normal raids, so I am actually keen to try the extremes, especially watching you guys do
Yeah.
them. Valley Garmanda was really fun when we did it in the normal ones,
Yeah.
despite the disconnect issue. But that
was fun.
that was so fun. And fun fact, I did Everkeep with a trust, so I was in a really awkward time of day when I went and unlocked it, and I was like, I'm been here 20 minutes and no one's available. I'll just see if I can go with a trust, and it was surprisingly easy. So the trust system is actually very good in Dawntrail, so would recommend
Cool.
to try it if people are not keen on going in with randoms. It's surprisingly still pretty easy to do a trial with the trust now.
Yeah, and with the trust, they kind of show you where to stand, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you're not. They do go right at the last minute, so it doesn't give you a lot of time
Yeah.
to kind of go, so you can't really cheat too much, but it is a good way to practice the mechanics because the AI can be a bit janky sometimes, but they all know where to go, so you can kind of get a feel of, all right, what do I need to stand where and what's happening, and without having to focus on what everyone else is running around doing like headless chooks.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, let's jump to the raid series. Because the raid series should kind of be that, well, the normal raid series should be that thing that kind of is something casual players should be able to enjoy, because we've got the Savages coming out, right? So I'm guessing the normal raid should be accessible and fun for a casual Final Fantasy XIV player. So how do you guys feel about the raid series?
I would find them pretty good. They're not super difficult. They've introduced a lot of new tells, I've noticed,
Yep.
which I feel like is what I've seen a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're pretty self-explanatory. Once, even if you die, you can see what killed you, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's just working out the new tells and icons that pop up during the raids.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I've died many times doing these more raids, but as soon as you die once or twice, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what I have to do. It's very easy to pick up the tells once you die to it once or twice or something like that.
Oh, 100%. I feel like if the normal raids was super easy where no one would wipe and you could just force your way through it, I don't think people would be ever interested in raiding.
Yeah. I wonder if, say it was a lot easier, do you reckon that would encourage more people to try the Savage, though? What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No? Savage was still
I feel like it'd
too scary?
some difficulty in normal raid, and then a big jump up to Savage is what people want.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Yeah, I would agree.
the appeal of Savages is that it is a next level up from extremes and from normal raids in a significant jump of difficulty that people want that challenge.
Yeah, okay. So who else has done the normal raid? Sash, Ren, Lynn, have you guys?
I
Yeah,
don't know what you're talking about.
I know you have, Sash. I'm just including you in the conversation. Whoever wants to speak up first, I don't mind.
Ren, have you done them?
No.
Ren, we'll take you in. Actually,
Alright.
that's something that I wanted to add actually for casual players. For me, the way that I was able to kind of get out my shell a little bit as a casual player was playing with friends and community, and making them feel comfortable in a raiding space. I think that is so important because for me, I used to be terrified to do alliance raids, right? Because I was playing by myself with 23 other random people, and I was worried about, letting them down, dying too much, not knowing what the heck I was doing, all that sort of stuff. But then as soon as I started streaming the game and people started inviting me to do content and stuff, it was like, oh, this is actually really fun, and people are really accepting, and people don't really care if I make mistakes, and they just want to make sure I have a good time. So I think if people communicate with jumping into content, being like, hey, I'm new, sorry if I make mistakes, and then instantly, well, I really hope that the player base would say stuff like, hey, it's okay, we're here, it doesn't matter if you die, let's have some fun. Like, I feel just that statement alone can just like help people so much. And I don't know if that's something that you guys have done before or something that you'd like to see more of. Like, what do you guys think?
It's definitely a bit more of a rarer occurrence, I find, on Materia these days, but I think that's both ways, whether it be offering help or asking for help. I think people just kind of accept people's states, typically. I find in Alliance raids, as you've actually mentioned, even if someone is new, no one really calls out their flack or anything, because it's a 24-person raid. One person's not going to, bring down the entire raid, so it's completely okay. But I've definitely found in probably dungeons and maybe trials is where people are mostly acceptable to help or a little bit needing of it. I had a Stone Vigil hard party once, and if anyone remembers that dungeon, they'll know that the second boss in that dungeon is ridiculously frustrating to fight. And I just had a party who wiped on that boss, literally just shouted out, does anyone need tips on how to fight the boss? And people said yes, and we were happy days right after. So it's rarer on Materia, but it's a little bit harder to solve because it does require both parties to communicate. So it requires the people who do know things to be like, hey, I'm here to offer help, and the people who need help to be like, hey, I need help. So that's how it goes, really.
Yeah, I would hope that there are more people in the community that are welcoming to new players, or if there is someone that says, oh, sorry for dying, it's like, just making sure they feel comfortable, like, hey, no, it's totally okay, like, dying is good, like, this is how you learn, but I'm, here if you need any help, or if you want to ask any questions, stuff like that. Like, you don't need to have a freaking mentor badge to be able to actually assist someone and help someone out. So yeah, I just hope that's something that we kind of see more of for these casual players that still might, even though we're saying that this content isn't too hard, we think that it's doable. You can clear it, and I guess that's all that matters. If you can clear the content and you can get through it, and if it's a challenge, it's a good thing, because it actually makes the content more fun in the long run, because it's content that we're going to be doing over and over and over again, and it leaves that like little bit of room for improvement from like having these deaths and everything.
These past few weeks have actually been the perfect time to make as many mistakes as you want, because with Dawntrail's new release and all the new dungeons, trials, raids, etc., every single person on the planet is going to be messing up these mechanics. This is the perfect time to just start playing with other players and just start messing up mechanics, because they can't talk themselves up. They're going to do exactly the same thing. So
it's a light free-for-all.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Nah, do you guys have anything else you want to like add about it? Yeah, just anything else you want to say, and then I'll ask chat if they have any questions for you guys as well.
I think people shouldn't really give up on, like, I've seen online that people like say they died 5 times in one of the raids, and I'm like, that's not really that big of a deal. I mean, they kind of give up and just want to brute force it, and I'm just like, take time, look at the mechanic again, you'll figure it out in time. Like, I feel like a lot of people give up before they figure it out.
Right.
I feel like people should just give it more of a chance.
Okay. Wonder why they feel like they want to give up.
I think as well this time around, with such a huge jump in the player base as well, there's a lot of people who are coming in wanting to finish everything as quickly as possible, or try to get the hang of everything, and say that they can do it, and then go back and keep getting all the rewards and things for it. But I think as well, because the player base, we had such a large jump from COVID, there's so much more variety and types of players now that have come over from other games. Not to say that the community is worsened or anything, but there's now a huge mix in how everyone goes about new content and wanting to try doing all the new things blind. So it's it's probably just a mix of, I think, people not used to having to long haul this as comparatively to what they have experienced in other games.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, yeah, no, thank you for sharing that, Lynn.
I also feel that a lot of people haven't played maybe on content.
Yep.
So maybe like they don't realize that it's not really the dungeons are that much harder. It's more that they haven't played with that kind of like low gear.
Yep.
To kind of like, you know, do it. So it might be a bit more difficult. You might be taking more damage.
Yeah.
Doing less damage. But it's more like maybe I find that the mechanics maybe go a bit quicker.
Yep.
Rather than, you know, it being like super difficult.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with Lucy actually. We feel like everything's just happening like a lot quicker. So it's like it's not actually that the mechanics are hard to kind of work out. It's more just that we have to be on our toes a lot more.
Yeah.
Like dodging and stuff. Like I definitely noticed that with the Dawntrail dungeons. There's I said this when I was going through, I'm like, I feel like OCP heard that we liked Barbarusia and was like, okay, how can we put Barbarusia into like everything now? It was just like AoEs and shit going everywhere. Like so much stuff to dodge. So but I find that really
Everything is
enjoyable.
overlapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So fast paced, a lot of the mechanics this time around.
Yeah, which I mean, the thing is, we need to be seeing this like kind of harder progression as we do get more expansions, or people are going to get bored as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine if everything was just like way easier than it was in Endwalker. It's like, where are we going? You know, what are we doing? We're supposed to be level 100 now, you know, should be so strong and powerful and can work things out. I don't know. Just experience, player experience. Like, obviously, our content that we did in A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Wars and stuff was like a lot easier than where we are now. And we had way less buttons to press and all that sort of stuff. And I think Final Fantasy XIV does a really good job with the progression of making content harder through the expansions. What do you guys think?
I think it's going up in a reasonable pace, yeah.
What you mentioned with the button pressing as well, now that we're level 100, there are some jobs that have got more things that are coming in. So it's as well, we're trying to, you know, it's more stuff that they're throwing at us so that we can use every button on our screens.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll ask chat. Chat, do you have any questions for anyone in the voice chat? What would each person say is their personal most difficult fight from Dawntrail? Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I'll range the difficulty with my first time because it's obviously easier now.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Probably the second trial. This is my first expansion playing as not a healer. I was playing as a melee DPS, and I, very much got sideswept by how difficult that trial was the first time around, especially on a brand new class. So
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, EX2 for me as well.
EX2.
I'd probably say EX2, yeah.
EX2.
Third raid that we did together where we wiped a good handful.
Oh, yeah, okay. M3. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
3.
Yeah, we wiped 3 times, I think it was. But actually, this is a cool thing to bring up. So, like, after wiping that fight 3 times in a row and you were healing, how did that make you feel once we did clear?
I needed a second to recover, but it felt really good. Yeah, it was like, it was that relief of like, oh my god, yes, we did it, it's done. It was, it's lots of fun finally clearing it after but you feel that, you know, like you've achieved something really good because you finally got the hang of the mechanics and you were able to, and healing is another thing altogether. Going through Dawntrail and any new MSQ as a healer is already asking for trouble.
Yeah,
so just on top of that. But I mean, like the healer role that I'm in there, Astrologian, is kind of the most familiar thing for me. So that already was the better place for me to be. But finishing that, yes, very good, very satisfying.
Cool. So it wasn't like a negative feeling. It was more of a positive feeling.
No, it was a bit like, you know, you do get that kind of that upset gut feeling of like, oh, again, you know, what more can I do? You know, but at the same time, it's like you just got to push through. You got to keep going because it's, you know, everyone contributes to the fight. It's not any one person's fault.
Yes.
You know, we all work together to try and make it work, and it's never like there's never any animosity in there especially with the new content, when things don't go right. You get up and you just keep trying until you get it, and it's because it's such a collective effort to get to the end. we're all just really happy to get through
Yeah.
it and finish it, and everyone congratulates each other, and we all go our separate ways.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that actually breaks me because you said, like, you know, it's a team thing, which is 100%. Final Fantasy 14 is pretty much a team game, right? We all work together to kill bosses and stuff like that. But actually talking about the solo instances in the MSQ, how did you guys actually find those? Because I think they definitely took a step up with Dawntrail as well, but did you think they were too hard?
And they were the best parts of the MSQ, honestly. They were very fun. Oh my gosh, I wish I could do them again. They were so much fun. Sure, they were a little bit higher in difficulty versus Endwalker, especially after a certain final fight in Endwalker. But no, they were wonderful. I had so much fun with those, mate.
Yeah?
I can't even think about the difficulty. I was just smiling constantly.
Yeah. Did anyone wipe doing the solo instances?
Did not.
No?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
No?
Nah.
I don't think I did. Wait, did I? No, I did.
You
I did.
would.
I did. I wiped in the
You
first
would,
one.
absolutely.
No, yeah, I did. And I didn't think it was too hard. I just enjoyed the challenge.
Doing them as a healer was a bit difficult because obviously I don't have a lot of attack power as a healer. I think I was watching Yura right after I fought Galul Jaja, and I was watching him play as a Viper, and I'm like, he's just
Smashing.
speeding through this. It took me like 30 minutes to do this as a healer.
Yeah.
No
The damage
power whatsoever.
output. Oh. Okay, cool. So solo instances were fun, enjoyable, not too difficult either. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, I'm gonna take one more question from chat. Actually, I think that was a for Lynn actually. How they felt about the MSQ 100 dungeon. That was fun to do with them, and they didn't feel. Yeah. So what happened with the level 100 dungeon, Lynn?
Oh, did we wipe? I cannot remember. It was lots of fun. I think we did wipe a few times. But by then as well, a lot of people had done it, which is the other thing that I noticed going through the MSQ
Yes.
is because I went through, I did MSQ quite a bit later, even though I had the early access. So by the time I was doing a lot of the dungeons, a lot of the trials, a lot of people already knew what they were doing. Okay, no, we didn't have a wipe, but I just died a lot, which is already on brand for me. So.
Yeah, same door.
Yeah. So yeah, but it was lots of fun, and that's the thing that I think I get a bit stressed out about, and probably a lot of casual players will feel the same, is that if you are not experienced and you are happening to die a lot in the dungeons, you start to feel a bit like a liability. It don't feel like that. It's, you know, everyone's there to support you. You know, it's a bit more stressful for me as a healer role because I really shouldn't be dying, but I've made my bed and I've lied in it. So, but you know, there's another healer there for a reason, and a lot of other roles have healer and res abilities, so it's not the end of the world if you get knocked out a few times. But everyone's learning, especially when it's new content. Even if you're a bit late to the game, there's guaranteed to be people that don't know what they're doing, and if you're the only person that doesn't, that's probably even better because everyone around you is going to be able to tell you what to do and guide you. So
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying before with like that communication, you know, if people can be nice and just willing to help and have patience for people, I think it just goes so far. It really does. Like, not, it's like people forget there are people that are casual players, and you know, we just need to support them and be like, hey, do you need help? Or hey, we go again, don't worry. Just literally anything like that, just to boost someone's spirits after, say, they died a few times. Just be like, hey, all good, we go again. Like, let's get it. I don't know. I think that would just go such a long way, because I do feel bad for, say, casual people that do die on repeat, and then say someone leaves an instance because they're just like, oh, I've had enough of this. Because that's when the casual player would feel like, you know, they're better, and or they can't do the content because they're not able to clear it because people keep leaving on them and stuff like that. So I think, once again, Final Fantasy 14 is a team game, you know? So we just all need to work together, lift each other up, be patient with each other, and it'll be good.
People, especially that are playing on Materia, Like, don't be afraid to, like, you know, die in a dungeon or anything. Like, the community is so welcoming and so lovely. Like, the materia community is the best that I've
Oh,
played with. So
gosh.
yeah.
Yay. Claps in chat. Go Materia DC.
Yes, as someone who has unfortunately come from the League of Legends community, this is one of the most welcoming and friendly communities you could probably find in gaming. So just, you know, stick it out, go for it, have some fun with content, and if you die, so what? Failure is the best teacher. So
Exactly.
Just-
yeah.
yeah.
Sure. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for taking your time.